Good day. Dr. Loretta here again, coming to you from Chesapeake Bible College and Seminary as we continue on a journey in our course, Self-Care Management. Welcome. And we have in the past topics talked about compassion fatigue, and we've also talked about psychological distress and what those definitions mean. As we proceed onward, we have another topic of interest and a hot button, and that will be entitled Psychological First Aid. Today I come to you with the belief and trust in knowing that this coursework will help you vitally impact your sustainability and resilience in life and in ministry. So let's talk a minute about what is psychological first aid. Several discuss that the impacts of stress as related to critical incident stress management and other areas are where we experience the opportunity for psychological first aid. Psychological first aid is described as being the psychological health analog to physical first aid. Basically, in other words, it's applying a psychological Band-Aid. That's the simplest definition that we as marketplace ministers and leaders can have this intervention, and we can actually help others in applying a psychological Band-Aid to their circumstance. Psychological first aid may simply be defined as a supportive and compassionate presence designed to do three things. The first thing psychological first aid does is stabilize. It helps to prevent the existing stress that is present as a result of an incident from worsening. Number two, through psychological first aid, we can mitigate. In other words, we can de-escalate the acute distress through psychological first aid. And number three, we can facilitate access to continued supportive care if and when necessary. So what is very important to note is psychological first aid does not entail diagnosis or treatment. Nevertheless, like physical first aid, it requires some basic training to be effective and reduce the risk of inadvertently making things worse for others. So for further information, you can see our Appendix 7, the 15 do's and don'ts in the delivery of a psychological first aid process. And I would also encourage you to, if you're seeing distress show up in other people's lives, we do have in Appendix 8 of our coursework, our Transforming Your City faith-based responses across 8 stages of life. Today and always, I hope that this information is coming to you as a valued resource and a viable asset for you to continue to explore ways to implement a self-care plan that would not only help you, but remember, when you help you, you help others. We won't miss it, and we won't miss the opportunities to not only take care of ourselves, but to see to it that we are in the best possible condition in spirit, soul, and body to also minister to others. So God bless you today as you love and lead, and we thank you for your time and your efforts in fruitful studies of self-care management course. Thank you. God bless you, and we'll talk more soon.